Hello, good morning. We are here to run this lead space webinar, Three Ways Sales Can Use a CDP to Improve Account-Based Selling. With me, I have Chuck Taylor, or Account Executive for the East Coast, and I'm Felix Serna, the VP of Growth Marketing for Lead Space. So Chuck, what are we deconstructing today for our audience?
Yeah, so good morning, Felix, and welcome to all of our listeners out there. And I hope I'm okay to advance the slide on that, Felix. What we're going to be talking about today really is the big three in regards to account-based selling or account-based marketing, the who, what, and when, if you will. So to break that down a little bit further, these are really critical areas that companies understand when it comes to targeting an audience, being efficient with your sales approach, and really being able to capitalize on the largest wins as quickly as possible. It really entails understanding who within the organizations that you need to call on. Who are the decision makers? Who are the buying centers within the locations? Where do they sit from a hierarchical fashion? Things such as that. The what that we're going to talk about is, what do I have the right fit in terms of companies? What are the company attributes that I need to be targeting that my best customers share today? Because those are really what I want to think about. And this includes things like the size of the business, the industry that the business is in, any sub-industries that the business may also be in. These are critical insights that when I'm thinking about how I want to prioritize my leads or my accounts at least from an AE standpoint, this is a pretty critical item. And then to tie it together is the when. And it's what's the readiness of the buyer today? Are they in market? Are they actively in market? Are they pursuing a solution? Or are they simply just trying to gather some research and really aren't that serious at this point? And it's having the understanding of that when to know exactly when to coordinate your efforts and strategies from a marketing and a sales standpoint. But really what we're going to get into today, Felix, excuse me, is the ability to be able to triangulate on all three of these areas, and to do some really powerful things from a sales and marketing standpoint directly within system architectures of our clients. Does that answer your questions?
Yeah.
Perfect.
So we are looking at these things that you need to know in a combination of sales and marketing demand generation in order to be very effective today in B2B.
That's correct. That's correct. And it's having the ability to understand who the ideal buyer profile is, right? It's understanding who your best customers, but also your total addressable market, Felix, and the best prospects within that total addressable market. And today, for a lot of companies, that's a very cumbersome process. Being able to run a TAM analysis or a total addressable market analysis, is table stakes for most companies. But being able to prioritize that and understand where your best opportunities lie within all of that noise, that's a whole different matter. And then it's taking those insights and everything that we're able to learn about our customers, and it's utilizing those insights to prioritize our sales territories. So as I sit on the lead space side, I consider myself very fortunate because I have access to these tools that has completely changed the way that I go to market in my sales approach.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, we are doing that, right? Like literally, we are working sales and marketing together very tightly in planning our addressable market for 2023. What are our targets or priorities based on the insights that we get from our own instance of lead space CDP. We call it L4L. It's the name of that our own instance, and we use it to get into answering these questions that we need to know. in order to prioritize and execute. As a startup, we are a small company. We watch our resources very, very tightly, and having this intelligence is just invaluable at this point. Let me talk a little bit about how do we do some of this active targeting using L4L. So there's we talk about three questions, and we discuss how we solving these three questions with four dimensions, right? Two have to do with accounts, and two have to do with people. And they're a combination of what you would call the fit, and in some cases, like when you're talking about accounts, you're talking about a predictive lift score, which is based on your existing customers, the comparing the prospects with your existing customers, your propensity signals, the ability, the or machine learning algorithm will look at the ability to actually complete a sale to those accounts and create a predictive score. And then on the top, you see the account readiness signal, which in our case comes from different intent signal sources at the account level. So that the fit of the account, and then so is it the right account, and is it the right timing? Is the account to the point that Chuck was making? Is it in market right now with that intent signal? Is what gives you the fit of the account. And then when we're looking at people on the right hand, is a similar kind of approach. We are looking at the fit based on the profile of the personas that we are targeting. And in our case, we are selling marketing technology, right? So I'm looking at personas in marketing like sales operations, marketing operations, demand generation people, very much folks like me um, in our prospects that as the personas that I'm targeting. And then the other dimension on the top is the readiness. And those are the signals that you get from your CRM, your marketing automation systems that tell you what the Eloqua guys used to call your digital body language. What are they doing? Are they, downloading stuff? Are they visiting websites? Are they trying to learn right now about that solution, that technology? So that gives you the people dimension. Um, and the combination of these four feet and signals is what gives you the exquisite targeting that we are discussing here that is able to allow you to prioritize. So the way when I'm going to talk about companies and I'll show you this. This is the abstract from the marketing side, and then I'll pass it on to Chuck to talk about how he literally uses these in an operational kind of way in Salesforce. So here we are looking at accounts over 1,000 employees. We are looking again something related to our industry, as lead space specific intent around marketing technology and martech, right? So if you look at it, you have on the left A, B, C, D. That's the lift predictive scores. With the top being 6.0 and 6 times higher potential to close the account. That's something that it's at the bottom. And then you see how we score all the companies that are in our graph that have more than 1,000 employees, and they are in the US, and you get those numbers. And then to the right, you see any intent, high intent, and super high intent. And those as when we bring that other component, the intent component, which is the timing of those companies, and we put it all together, and you create this matrix that gives you, the higher you go to the right, the higher potential that company has to become a customer if they're a prospect, right? Um, so what can you do? One thing that we do is figure out how we're gonna use our few dollars that we have in marketing for demand generation in a very smart way. For example, companies that are predicted to be a very, very high conversion and they have super high intent will get the investment to go have an ABM type event and an event where Chuck will invite a couple of customers and prospects, and we have a very high end event, very personalized. Invest the time, the energy, the marketing, the demand generation dollars to have that conversation with because we are predicting that one, they are very, very interested in the solution, and two, they are very interested in considering a solution right now in terms of timing. So it's very, very good thing to have that interaction. And then as you go lower to the left and down on this matrix to the lighter green, you start thinking, well, these are people that are in a consideration process. Maybe we're investing uh, dollars in digital spend, right? And in doing some um, air cover, some consideration type marketing, where it's going to bring them. And the idea, of course, is always pushing them. You want to push them. This is an active thing. It changes every week, and you are pushing people that are in the lighter green to the dark green. Hopefully, with your marketing investments, because you're investing in digital advertising, those linking advertising, etc., to get them into the dark green. And then you have the ones in the gray here that are maybe at the top of the funnel. They are considering a solution in martech. Maybe they are not investigating yet what a CDP is. So that is the kind of audience that you want to reach with something like email, with your web page, with syndicating your content, your blogs, etc., where they are, in the places where they are, so you are able to provide some of that air cover. And let me talk just a second about the people, and then I'll hand it to Chuck. So the same thing, we were talking about the targets, two dimensions, right? The persona category, and I was saying, it's marketing ops, sales ops, digital marketing. I forgot IT biz applications, right? Those are the folks that run the big data systems for us marketers in big companies. They're very much appreciated, by the way. And how do we score those contacts, and then we look at their behavior, right? And again, the further you go to the right and up, the higher probability that they are going to be very responsive to your message, that they're going to want a meeting, that they're going to want a follow-up of any kind, because they are down into the consideration part of their demand generation funnel um, at this point. And the engagement here, we have low engagement to high engagement. It's engagement that you measure across your web properties. So I don't want to spend all the time with this theoretical stuff. Let's go back to how we use it together. And I use this, again, in terms of planning, looking at, okay, what are we gonna do with SDRs? What are we gonna do in terms of ABM events in the field, right? East Coast, West Coast, etc. Let's see how Chuck is using this stuff um, in in the field.
Perfect. Felix, thank you for that. And I love the digital body language. I've never heard that. That's a great term. Um, so really, what you're talking about is, again, what a lot of companies are doing today that some consider table stakes. It's predictive modeling. It's taking first party data. It's being able to marry that with third party data to give you additional insights. And it's essentially you're making a prediction, and in the form of a fit model, you're predicting conversion to win, right? Win an opportunity or close an opportunity. With personas, you're predicting, right, the best person within an organization to go after, and within intent, you're predicting their readiness to buy. And companies are doing that, and they've been doing that for decades. And what's making it different on our side, Felix, and what we're so excited about is the triangulation of the three, but the ability to bring all of it together and use it in unison directly within my Salesforce. So for the first time in my almost 25 years of selling and working with CRM systems, now we're able to lead space for lead space, or lead space is able to go in and prioritize all of our sales territories, not only by the best fit, but also by these companies and their readiness to buy. And that's a huge game changer from a sales efficiency standpoint, and how I'm going to strategize my territory, my day-to-day approach to these accounts, right, is going to be impacted by that. The collaboration that sales and marketing now has through that consistency of being able to target precisely using a scoring system for those three enables, as you went through on the previous screen, it enables you to drastically change your strategy. And we're doing that here where we're targeting those A1s, high, super high intent to really get in front of from a sales standpoint. In fact, I ran a campaign the other day, a cadence, using that information, using lead space for lead space, targeting our contacts. And I'm seeing things like on a LinkedIn Connect cadence, I had over a 10% conversion. And that to me tells me that the data's working, right? The data and the insights don't lie. They're telling me exactly who I need to be targeting within these organizations. um, having continual scoring against any data on a regular basis. So as new leads come in, as we go to trade shows and we meet new people from a sales standpoint, having the ability to score those really in near real time, again, changes the way that we're going to market and our strategy for these leads and the way that we prioritize and approach them. And then the last thing I really want to hit on is our ability to, within Salesforce, not only triangulate and leverage all three of these scoring techniques and these predictive techniques, but to be able to do it individually or in unison. And as we're seeing, and as you've mentioned, we can do that, and it greatly gives us the ability to come up with a lot of different unique strategies on how we want to go about our business based upon that fit and that readiness to buy. And one of the things you didn't mention, Felix, but I love is, on the super high intent, with the data, we now have the ability to look at companies that are not only looking at relevant products and services, they may be out filling out forms and visiting our site anonymously, but these are also people that have directly put in search terms for lead space in this process. And so we know they're looking directly at lead space. And I can tell you from a sales standpoint, those are the people I'm going to look at that report every single week. And as that data changes, that's my first priority at the beginning of every week is to reach out to those super hot prospects.
Talking about digital body language, that's the people that are raising their hand, right, digitally, by putting lead space in there, looking for us, without coming, without filling a form in our website. They are doing it somewhere else, but they are raising their hand digitally. Very cool.
Yeah, that's right. And to help, kind of put some visualization behind this, Felix, I offered up just a quick couple of screenshots of my own Salesforce. And so you can see this is a report that we've created that you mentioned. We call it a 12-box report. We're really looking at the fit of the account, which is your ABC along the left-hand margin. And then in this report, we're looking at the intent associated with that. So my priority here from a sales standpoint is really to start with the A customers, right? I want the best fit and I want those high intent, then I'm going to go to medium, then I'm going to go to low intent. And that's going to be the priority of the way that I work these types of accounts and prospects within my territory. And then if I switch gears, we can look at a visualization of the super hot again, which is so this again changes the way that I'm leveraging the fit and the intent, and this puts more weighting on the intent piece, and specifically it's looking at those individuals that are mentioning lead space, and that's why we've coined this super hot. So again, having access to these two reports now in my Salesforce and the ability to see a score on every single prospect and customer in my territory has been a huge game changer to me in terms of efficiency, in terms of prioritization. We're already seeing the conversion rates that we're expecting to see based on what the data is telling us.
Great. The cool part about using Salesforce for this is that you're not going into a different application. You're going into your own tool that you're using in your sales operations processes, and you are going on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, and looking at these changes and how it's changing, which companies are coming into your funnel. They are coming with interest and intent, and being able to look at that and segment those, to create your own prioritization for actions, right? And what we are doing, of course, is we are working together, sales and marketing, to figure out, when we have to look at local events, field marketing investments, what events we want to host, what events we want to participate in, based on where those customers in the total addressable uh, market and the territories that we want to be targeting, the combination of both. We are doing this with sales operations and lead space, and planning on how we execute it in the year 23. So let's talk a little bit about lead space, and our CDP solution, because I'm the marketing guy and I have to have some kind of chest stamping here about what we are doing and how L4L has been helping us, and we did that. But also wanted to show folks that were kind enough to attend this webinar today a little bit about our product. So we talk about four dimensions of our solution, um, a combination um, a combination of the in fit scores between the company and the personas, but also the intent signals and the behavior of the individuals. So when we look at it in practical terms, how we use it in both sales and marketing, we have four motions: profile, map, segment, and pilot. When we talk about profile, um, we are getting, and there's a question here coming up from the audience: how do you obtain contact information for these leads? Well, we do have that from the beginning. Part of of the beauty of the CDP that we are providing is that we have third and first party data for 70 million companies and around 280 million people. We are not a single source like other providers of demographics and firmographics. We actually aggregate data from many different providers worldwide, and we have, when we do bake-offs and we compare, or what we call our data graph, profile graph, to others, we always come in the top. Um, we also offer a cost reduction because we already integrate those and make sure that you don't have duplicates. You are not paying double for the same contact. um, it gets really tricky when you have different sources that have different field rates in different territories. So that's an advantage of our profile, right? I hope that answers that question from the audience. So yeah, that's the beginning, or profile, which is our data graph. Again, a composite of third party and first party data, that we aggregate in the platform and we provide as a service. And the second part is the mapping, which is where we bring those, the analysis on the territory. We bring the intelligence on the fit scores, the predicted lift, etc., in order to create these predictive maps on who's most likely to buy, who's most highly engaged, and who's in market right now. This is the timing question. Going back to when we started this conversation, we look at who, what, and when. This is the map, is where you are actually marrying this. Um, then when you need to actualize this, we have the next process, and the next part of the product we call segment. And this is the way we have APIs into the most of the marketing automation and CRM systems out there that partner with us, and we are able to provide straight segments that then can be activated in different channels, orchestrated, integrated down, in a way where you can preload what your BDRs are going to be doing in sales loft or outreach next morning, because the list has been analyzed today. You can have a priority list, as we were discussing with Chuck regarding, when you look at your CRM and you're looking at planning for your day or for your week in terms of your actions. You can have somebody like in my teams, or the people that are doing marketing automation, newsletters, and email campaigns, get these activation lists from us and use them, both for advertising, but also for email marketing campaigns. And then the last part is pilot, which is bringing all of this together and putting machine learning into a sprinkle of AI into the process. And because at the end of the day, you want this to run in an automated way, um, to run in a way where the health of the process is constantly analyzed, where you get reports that tell you what's working, what is not working, if you have issues, if you have problems with the data moving through the process, etc. And that's what we call the pilot side of the product. So who's using this? This is and again, I have to do this. This is my marketing slide, my logo slides. Um, so you have people like Salesforce, Microsoft, Adobe, Zoom, and Okta. Look at the top software vendors of the world. Some of the top technology companies on the world, like Hewlett Packard, IBM, Oracle, and then a lot of interesting industries, Cisco, but also interesting industries like Trimble and Intel, manufacturers like Seagate, again, are using our solution today. So that is pretty much what I had in the agenda. Chuck, anything to add on this before we take more questions?
Sorry about that, Felix. I was on mute. No, I think this is great, and it's, again, it's been very eye-opening for me over the last several months as we've launched this internally, on our own territories. It's, like I said, it changes the way that we go to market. It changes the way that I work with our marketing, with my SVP, and the way that we want to target specific opportunities within our territory. It gives us huge flexibility, and it's not cumbersome. The fact that we can do this directly within our marketing automation platform or our CRM, and have that scoring capability directly within those systems it's a huge advantage. I look at the customer slide, and I also think about, Felix, an interesting story. Salesforce was a data company at one point, along with a software company. They understood to a certain degree the data industry, and how difficult B2B data and keeping that up to speed and scoring and things like that can be. They got out of the data business and sold off data.com, and immediately vetted about every vendor under the sun for their own business data. We've played a vital role in that ever since. So I mentioned that I find it very interesting. These are really innovative leaders within their industries, and they've chosen lead space because of our innovation and the way that we're approaching B2B data.
Very cool. Very cool. Thank you. Thank you for that example. There was another question about integration of first and third party data. And yes, that's, I think I reflect back to what we were describing in the profile. It goes here in this profile graph. We integrate third party and first party data together based on demographics. We link it at the account level. We link it at the persona, as you saw, level, at the contact level, and we do the deduping, cleansing, all the privacy management, etc., all in our data graph, and it's part of the first. So we start from there, and then we put the other signals on top to create that kind of intelligence. We are running out of time here. So thank you so much, Chuck, for making the time this morning to speak with us, with the audience. Of course, hopefully I didn't do too much marketing push here. It was just good enough to give you a taste of what we are doing at at LeadSpace. Thank you, Chuck. Thank you to our audience. We'll see you soon in another webinar.
Thanks, Felix.